Post then, you were welcome. There were not titles that were important. There was the thirst for knowledge and understanding. And it is at the First World Alliance where you taught us critical thinking. You taught us the way to look at history and understand the many perspectives. And one day, Dr. Jeffries, you gave a lecture on art. And she talked about why they took certain characteristics and made those characteristics look as if we were clowns. Because they took our mouth, and you talked about that. And that made our nose bigger, but the importance of that is what's the breath of life. Yeah. Those things that were fundamental to us and turned into a caricature to be laughed at. And every time we stand in the halls of the Senate, it is at the First World Alliance when Dr. Sanford said, when you are in trouble or difficulty, think of yourself walking the sands of the Sahara Desert. Think of the power, the beauty, and the enlightenment that you bring. And I will tell you, in the Senate of New Jersey, I had to think of myself walking across the Sahara many a day because they gave you tools. You were not there to be entertained. You were there to be enlightened. And so it is because of their scholarship and their critical thinking that they passed on to us in the audience, not knowing who we were, but loving all who were there. And it is that thirst for knowledge. It is that commitment to understanding that actually through the First World Alliance has shaped us all. And so to all of you, thank you very much. And one last thing. Why does it matter? There's only, and Assemblywoman talked about our legislation. They are not coming after you or us with dogs and whistles. They will take your freedom with where they place a period or a comma in legislation. I am the only black attorney in the Senate and the only black attorney female in the whole legislature. And so sometimes I am what they call a dissonant voice. Come on now. Because we have to come with the skills that First World Alliance taught us. And we have to come with the courage of the ancestors to be able to stand in the truth of who we are as people. So we come to leverage power, not titles, or we come to leverage power. And so in closing, I'd like to say, you never know what words you may give and who it affects. And I want to say into the Jeffries, into the First World Alliance, the words you gave to me will always affect me in Ashe.
Let's give our state senator another round of applause. We're going to keep this program going. I'm going to ask the council members to come up right quick just to say a few words. Alicia Holman is representing the council. Councilman Chris James very quickly. Then we're going to have come up immediately for about 5 minutes. Dal Jeffries, and immediately we're going to have our Dr. Leonard Jeffries, because everybody is bouncing around to these Juneteenth events throughout the city, throughout the county, throughout the state. So we're going to try to get everybody moving. So come on up, Alicia.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, giving honor to my Lord and Savior, the author and finisher of my faith. You've already met my colleagues here, Councilman Pullins and Councilwoman Timberlake. Oh goodness, I'm sorry, Playbrooks. Too many Britneys. I'm so sorry. But you know, the mayor has said it all. You know, we stand here before you today and recognizing that we're standing on the soldiers of our ancestors. We thank them for all that they've done for us. Without them, we would not be able to do what we do here as elected officials. We wouldn't have been able to attend certain colleges, Ivy League schools. So we thank them and give the knee and bow in honor of them. To Mr. Jeffries, the historian, thank you so much, because I know you've been fighting that fight for us. We appreciate you, and we do not fall short in recognizing those. Thank you all for coming, and most importantly to all the fathers, because they say that the mothers get everything. Happy Father's Day to you all. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your day. Thank you. We're going to be very short and brief. God bless.
Let's give Councilwoman another round of applause. But I guarantee you, if you go to CVS or Rite Aid, the Father's Day cards is packed up in there. Guaranteed. But listen, we're going to bring on from it Dal Jeffries. Come on, Dal Jeffries. Dal Jeffries represents the Oranges and the Maplewood NAACP. Dal Jeffries.
And we need your membership, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, East Orange. Stars, this is home for me. Right now. Born and raised right here in the great city of East Orange. And to the leadership of this great city, the Honorable Ted R. Green, members of council, to Senator Gill, Assemblywoman Timberlake, who had to go on to the next event. I too am due right now in Nutley. I just left West Orange, so in the inimitable words of my cousin, who's representing us in the United States House of Representatives, as the Democratic Caucus Chairman, Hakeem Jeffries. He says, be brilliant, be brief, and be gone. Yeah. This is a great day for this great city, for our state, our nation, and a great day for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. In many respects, this is our authentic Independence Day. And now, with the stroke of the pen, President Biden has made it officially a national holiday today. We stand here today at this moment of great reflection and inflection to celebrate this historic milestone and to celebrate this unheralded American story of liberation that is not taught in our textbooks, but will soon be. On behalf of the gifted and talented members of the Oranges and Maplewood NAACP, Lady Trish, now our Assistant Secretary and Membership Co-Chairperson, is presiding over the table there. And how many of you are members of the NAACP? How many of you are members? Well, you know, all of us should be members because our communities are under siege like never before in our history, and we must all come together in solidarity. And so we are on a mission here today to foster transformative change in the 11 communities in Essex County, New Jersey that we serve. We're on a mission to enlist or recruit 500 new members and 500 newly registered voters. We embrace the fierce urgency of now as we are engaged in the important work of becoming a go-to resource hub for those communities that we serve here. We're on a mission to reimagine our advocacy as a civil rights organization in order to change the narrative, to address the long-standing disparities in healthcare, education, employment, business opportunities, and housing, and to transform policing in our community from an occupation force to a guardian force. We're on a mission to produce positive outcomes and to help make our communities isles of domestic tranquility and prosperity. We embrace this day with a renewed sense of purpose to tell this truly American story and to remind ourselves of how far we have come and how much further we have to go, for the knee of oppression and suppression and injustice has been on our collective necks for the past 400 years. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are all American citizens endowed by our Creator with the unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In closing, this moment is our opportunity as American citizens to live out our true creed that Thomas Jefferson, TJ, as my cousin, the great Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and Dr. Rosalind Jefferson, with TJ, the slaveholder, whose mistress was Sally Hemings, African-American woman. He's got black kids, there's black Jeffersons, that all men are created equal, and that we be the rising tide through a collective spirit of cooperation and greater understanding and shared history to lift each other and to lift all boats. As the oldest NAACP branch in the state of New Jersey and the third oldest in the nation, we view ourselves as torchbearers of a pioneering legacy of advocacy for social justice and equality for all and in all our affairs. Let us now raise this commemorative flag. This is specially designed by the Oranges and Maplewood NAACP to honor this historic moment and to honor the extraordinary contributions of people of color to this great nation and to the world. Thank you. Thank you all.
That is the quickest remarks I ever heard Dal Jeffrey make since I've known him. Give him another round of applause. Give the NAACP a round of applause, and we thank y'all very much for being here. Make sure you leave my wife my application, you know, because you just told me to pay my dues, okay? Leave my wife the application. But listen, let's keep this thing going. Let me bring forth his remarks, our keynote speaker today, who has not only been on the forefront of history, but again, as Dal said, and our Senator, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, have really been not only a voice for so many African Americans around this country, and he's still doing what he loves. We're going to bring up Dr. Leonard Jeffries, our keynote speaker. Come on up, Dr. Leonard Jeffries.
Brothers and sisters, OTEP family, it is indeed a pleasure to join all of you here and others throughout the nation honoring this special period of our struggle. Now, I've traveled the world, been very proud to do that, but I had a partner, and she has tolerated me moving all around the world. She has moved with me. And so when you see Dr. Jeffries, you have to say, is it Dr. Leonard Jeffries or is it Dr. Rosalind Jeffries?
Thank you.
We are a pair, a powerful pair, struggling. More than 50-something years we've been together. So there is something serious about marriage, and there's something serious about struggle. I would not want to even say a word to you without my better half, my senior in understanding spirituality and understanding the love of the creation, without her saying a few words. So I'm introducing you to my secret weapon and my power base, my spiritual source and reinforcement, Dr. Rosalind Robinson Jeffries.
Thank you. I will be very brief because relative to your major speaker, giving honor to all of the people that were here, the council people, Senator Gill with the wonderful things that she had said in reminding us of the long legacy that we've had. We remember when we were on this very same platform when Mayor Green invited us as special guests because his special guest was the Oni of Ife. And the Oni of Ife usually never leaves the Ile, the home that they call the center of the world and the central part of Nigeria. They stay at the altar praying because they believed in the divine kingship system, the connection with Almighty, and that someone had to be there in prayer connection with God on behalf of the others. We are a people who have never said there is no God, and our God was with us through the trials and the tribulations. And when the tricks came along, like Juneteenth was a trick, and when the tricks came along, they made us stronger. And so we are the survivors, and we still stand strong and tall, so that the Christ that died on the cross should not have been in vain. Those that were lynched during the era of Reconstruction should not be in vain. We are the products created and made with inalienable rights to the right to vote, the right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice. I came through many hardships. My family is part in Jersey, South Jersey, a strong enclave, but we moved on into Harlem, post-Harlem Renaissance. I was raised as a Renaissance child. Things became difficult because of the gentrification tricks, and we need to study black studies about studying the tricks that were made and the truth. What is the truth? What is freedom? Truth in the Christian aspect said Christ is the truth. The truth is those inalienable rights created by God Supreme, the God of Islam, and the God of Christianity, and the God of those who were right believers in the traditional cultures in Africa. And so that I came through a Harlem that became filled with gangs and at a certain point, so I had the dual relationship of the hardship to come through. All young people, remember, your life is for the service of humankind, not to dwell on yourself so much that you become blind to other people. Leonard and I, in Crossroads, Africa, my trip 1960 to Nigeria was about giving, rendering service.
Thank you.
That's what kept the marriage together. Lecturing and talking and working in the service of the community. And so that's the way out from depression, to think about those things that are higher, young people. When the gangs or the problems or whatever come, your mother might forsake you, your father might forsake you, but you are not God forsaken. Stand tall. Stand tall. I end up going to Yale University because of not of brilliance or intellect, but because God willed that I go in order to come out, go into the museums and separate the wheat from the chaff in the culture of black Americans in a strong way. I had to go humble amongst people who were against us as a people in order to do the works of the Lord. God will go with you and take you through whatever is necessary. You are born today with an agenda, with a destiny. That's the destiny of a great people. And so I don't want to talk too long. I stopped there, but at another time, I'll tell you what truth is. I'll tell you what freedom is. And part of the freedom is bondage. To be bonded in unconditional love to the God that created and made you. And anti-freedom that took place in Texas in Juneteenth was people who wanted to take away your destiny, your inalienable rights to talk to and be bonded to the greatest love that ever existed.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. See how people give respect to old folks? Not the mayor jumping up around. Showing that I'm taken care of. Now, I've been blessed to be on this earth for 85 years. And that blessing is not meaningful unless I can share it. I will not make a presentation now. I will invite myself back around January 19th, which is my birthday. On the cusp, Aquarian Capricorn. Most of us are Capricorn. Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben, Dr. Len, Jackson Franklin, Muhammad Ali. Most of us are Capricorn. But here's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to make East Orange one of the special places in Essex County, a center of African knowledge. Now, when my senator started making me feel bad, saying that, you know, I got to top her, I intend to. When she raised First World Alliance, Mother Keffer, I just received a letter yesterday that said, if you do not come and pick up these materials by July the 20th, they will be thrown in the garbage or sold and auctioned off. Mother Keffer was misused and abused, as many of our women are. She was buried in an unmarked grave in South Jersey. Yes. We had to be hound dogs and go sniffing around Jersey until we found her. Way down in South Jersey, unmarked grave. But when you have sisters like Sister Latrella and others who are part of our group, they found out where she was. We went to court month after month to fight for her legacy. We were able to get her will, and she gave to me her collection of books. Now, every week somebody came outstanding. Every week that somebody, he or she, signed one of those books and gave it to the First World. That collection has to find a place in Essex County. I'm going to be negotiating whether it should be in Montclair, because you know that's where Brother Gill was, and we got to deal with his archives too. But I'm committed to East Orange because unfortunately so many of the Jeffreys are a part of East Orange. It would be embarrassing if we didn't have it in East Orange. So I'm going to fight for East Orange. My wife and I have an enormous collection, which we're going to offer to Morgan State University, because it is one of the leading so-called black schools. But we have so much that Morgan don't deserve all that we have. We got to bring some of that stuff up here to Essex County. Essex County is a special, peculiar phenomenon in the history of America. Newark,
oranges, Montclair. We need to tell that story, what black folks have done. How some of them went to schools like I did, Barrington High School, and they wound up going into Congress. One brother going into Congress, Payne, the other brother going into the state assembly. We have to understand that we have made a statement, African peoples in New Jersey. When I passed 22 Prospect, my world started to shake because my mother lived up there for decades. It was from there that she told us what to do. It was from there when they tried to kill her, to have her car have an accident. She had a little red convertible, she just loved it, but they loosened the lugs on her car so that she would have an accident. They wanted to get at me, but they went after my mother. So my brother and I said, Ma, stop riding your car. Take a cab or a bus. And this little 5-foot Leola Jeffrey said, they will not instill fear in me. So we have to do something in terms of 22 West, because the Jeffries archives just does too much for Morgan State. So we got to figure out how in Essex County we're going to negotiate this thing. So we're going to have something special here. Now I was born. One leg was in Newark. The other leg was in East Orange. So I straddled Newark and East Orange. I lived on 14th Street in Newark. But when my auntie asked me to take a little brown bag with some nickels and dimes in it around the corner, it was 15th Street. Early on in my life, I'm not going to write this in the book though, I was a numbers runner. I didn't realize that that little brown paper bag with the little 15 or 20 was me carrying the numbers to the store. We have to be real. Born in the Women and Children's Hospital on South 10th Street, I overlooked Fairmont Cemetery, where so many of our people are. And so I want to really sit down with the mayor and others to figure out how we can put a real history of the county and this role compared to the counties around Cleveland and Detroit and Oakland. This county has something very special. And so we want to make it enhanced. I'm going to leave you with these powerful words as I commit to come back. I mean, the best thing that happened to the planet and to the universe is the sun. So ain't no need for us to feel uncomfortable here. You see, the people who should feel uncomfortable are the people who lack melanin. And we don't want to go into that right now, but we will. We need to be proud of this blackness. This means that we were the first on the planet Earth, the first to bring forth what is considered human and decent. So this is just a beginning for me to make some important decisions. And so I want to leave you with these words, because Dr. John Henry Clark was truly our master. You've got to get into the book. Stop worrying about the damn looks and get into the book. Stop worrying about that hair and get what's happening under that hair, in that mind. Stop worrying about your behind and get into your African mind. I mean, you turn the TV on, I'm so embarrassed. The black behind is stretching all over the TV, this and that, even white folks imitating us, our behinds. The behind serves a beautiful purpose, because in the African tradition, you put a wrap around your behind, you take your youngster, you throw him on the back, you tie him to that behind, and so he goes through his early part of his life, bumping up and down to that wonderful thing you got back there. So we need to understand who we are and make it real for our people. So my most important thing will be to try to set up an educational center, a library, a research center for Essex County. You understand what I'm talking about? Dr. Clark said it best, notes for an African world revolution, Africans are at the crossroads. And the unfinished revolution involves a person like Nkrumah, who got his spirit and understanding coming to America. Then he took it back to Africa. Then he brought it to the world. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born in Jamaica, went to Panama, but when he really wanted to do something, he said it's Black America that has the potential and the capability. So his movement took on big time when he brought it to America. And of course, El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, Malcolm X. Okay. His daughters, they're like my goddaughters. So we're going to make sure we're going to do something special for El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, particularly because Betty stayed the course. When she lost him, she didn't go down and under. She touched into her spirituality and raised those girls. She will make sure